Did you ever wake up after a party or restaurant feeling like your joints are on fire? Are your RA symptoms suddenly worse with unbearable pain, swelling, and stiffness? Have you ever wondered if the food that you eat the night before has any connection with the sudden worsening of RA? This video will answer these questions. I will teach you the foods that can cause an RA flare-up, from the least toxic to the worst foods. I am Dr. Vivi, a rheumatologist with more than 12 years of experience who treats patients with RA every day. RA is an autoimmune disease that affects millions of people all around the world. It can cause pain, stiffness, and a lot of joint deformities if it is not diagnosed in time and if it is not treated appropriately. But besides medication, which is actually very advanced today, my patients will always ask me about natural ways of treating arthritis. Over the last 10 years, I have constantly researched this topic to see if nutrition and other lifestyle interventions are helpful. The answer is that yes, nutrition is scientifically proven to help people with RA. Only now, after 10 years of talking about this topic, I have seen the American College of Rheumatology releasing lifestyle guidelines to support lifestyle interventions for patients with RA. But not even those are very strongly recommended. I am here to tell you that eating the right foods will decrease the pain, swelling, stiffness, and inflammation, and will heal your gut. Let's begin our countdown of the foods that could sabotage you. Number 10. Nightshade vegetables. One of my patients, Sarah, came to me believing she had full-blown RA. Her joints were swollen, her fingers stiff in the mornings, and her pain was constant. Yet her blood work was normal, no signs of RA. That got me curious. We talked in depth, and I found out she was eating tons of tomatoes from her garden. She used them in sauces, salads, soups, every single day for weeks. I suggested she eliminate nightshades for a month. 6 weeks later, she returned pain-free and glowing. Nightshades include tomatoes, potatoes, not sweet potatoes, eggplant, bell, and hot peppers. They contain solanine, a compound that may trigger inflammation in some individuals. Try cutting them out for 30 days. It might be your hidden trigger too. Number 9. Artificial sweeteners. Doctor, I switched to sugar-free soda. That's better, right? I hear this a lot. But sadly, these healthy swaps can backfire. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose disrupt gut bacteria. A damaged gut microbiome increases intestinal permeability, also called leaky gut. This makes the immune system go haywire, increasing inflammation. Aspartame in particular has been linked to autoimmune diseases like RA. Some studies even associate it with increased risk of cancer and chronic illness. Instead of replacing sugar with chemicals, go natural. Use raw honey or maple syrup occasionally, or better, train your palate to need less sweetness. Did you know most adults can't properly digest dairy? Around 65% of the world has lactose intolerance to some degree. This can lead to bloating, gas, and gut inflammation, fueling autoimmune responses. Casein, a protein found in milk, has been shown to trigger inflammation in some RA patients. Plus, conventional dairy often contains added hormones and antibiotics. However, not all dairy is created equal. Fermented dairy like plain yogurt and kefir may actually help gut health. Moderation is key, and choosing organic or grass-fed sources makes a big difference. If you notice joint pain after eating cheese or milk, try cutting back for a few weeks. Track your symptoms. It could be a silent contributor to your RA flares. A glass of red wine at dinner might seem harmless, even beneficial. In Mediterranean cultures, moderate wine intake is linked with better heart health, but the key word is moderate. 1 glass, not 3. Excessive alcohol disrupts gut bacteria, promotes leaky gut, and worsens inflammation. It also interferes with medications like methotrexate used by many RA patients, and it burdens the liver, which is crucial for detoxification and immune function. Sleep gets disturbed, which can lead to higher inflammation levels the next day. Studies show inflammatory markers spike after alcohol binges. For RA patients, this means more joint stiffness, pain, and fatigue. Stick to low or no alcohol. Your joints will thank you. Not everyone needs to avoid gluten, but for some RA patients, it's a game changer. People with gluten sensitivity can't break it down properly, causing gut inflammation. That inflammation doesn't stay in the gut, it spreads systemically. The result? Increased immune activity, joint swelling, and flare-ups. There are no perfect tests for gluten sensitivity, just celiac disease. So the best way to find out is to eliminate gluten for 6 to 8 weeks. Keep a detailed journal of symptoms like pain, stiffness, and fatigue. Common gluten-heavy foods include white bread, pasta, and pastries. Try switching to gluten-free grains like quinoa, brown rice, and buckwheat. Many RA patients feel more energetic and less inflamed after going gluten-free. Number 5. Seed oils. Let me tell you a story about a patient who thought she was doing everything right. She switched from butter to vegetable oils, thinking she was making a healthier choice. But her rheumatoid arthritis symptoms suddenly flared up. More joint pain, more swelling, more fatigue. When we looked into her diet, we realized she had started cooking exclusively with canola and soybean oil. These oils, though marketed as heart-healthy, are actually rich in omega-6 fatty acids, which promote inflammation when consumed in excess. On top of that, the high heat processing and chemical treatments used to make these oils create toxic byproducts. I advised her to switch to olive oil for salads and avocado oil for cooking. Within just a few weeks, she noticed less pain and better energy. If you're cooking with corn, sunflower, or soybean oil, it's time to rethink your choices. Go for cold-pressed, unfiltered olive oil. Your joints will thank you. Healthy fats can be your ally in fighting inflammation, while the wrong ones can be your enemy. Never underestimate the power of cooking oil on your overall inflammation levels. Number 4. Red meat. One of the most overlooked triggers for inflammation is the overconsumption of red meat, especially processed forms like sausages, bacon, and deli meats. I had a male patient in his early 50s who enjoyed steaks and burgers several times a week. His rheumatoid arthritis symptoms were out of control, even with medication. I suggested reducing his red meat intake and replacing it with fish, poultry, and plant-based proteins. Within 2 months, his flare-ups were significantly reduced. The issue with red meat lies in its saturated fat and iron content, both of which can fuel inflammation. Processed meats in particular contain preservatives and nitrates that worsen the problem. Studies have shown a clear link between high red meat consumption and elevated C-reactive protein, a key marker of inflammation. The Mediterranean diet, which limits red meat and focuses on vegetables, fish, and olive oil, has been shown to reduce rheumatoid arthritis symptoms. If you're eating red meat more than twice a week, it's time to reconsider. Choose grass-fed meat and always keep portion sizes small. Your joints will feel the difference. Number 3. Refined carbohydrates. White bread, white pasta, pastries, and sugary cereals. These are the foods we crave but often regret later. A patient of mine, a young woman in her 30s, loved her morning bagel and afternoon cookies, but her RA flared up badly and unpredictably. We reviewed her diet and found she was eating refined carbs daily. These foods spike your blood sugar quickly, triggering insulin release, followed by an inflammatory response throughout the body. On top of that, they provide very little fiber, which disrupts gut health and worsens systemic inflammation. Within a month of switching to whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, and oats, her joint pain had decreased noticeably. Refined carbs are also linked to weight gain, which puts extra pressure on your joints. If you want to take control of your RA, eliminate refined flours and sugars from your pantry. It's not just about losing weight, it's about calming the storm inside your body. Number 2. Salt. Salt is sneaky. It hides in canned soups, processed snacks, condiments, and even bread. I once had a patient with RA who didn't think she consumed much salt, until we looked at her food labels. She was regularly eating frozen meals, deli meat, and sauces packed with sodium. Her joints were constantly swollen, and her blood pressure was high. I asked her to cut back on salt, cooking more meals at home with herbs and spices instead. Over the next 6 weeks, her inflammation markers dropped, and she felt much better. Here's the science. Too much salt disrupts your immune system by impairing regulatory T cells, leading to higher inflammation. It also causes your body to retain water, worsening joint swelling and pain. If you think you're eating low salt, double-check. Reducing sodium could be the simplest way to ease your RA symptoms and protect your heart and kidneys along the way. Number 1. Sugar. Now let's talk about the biggest culprit of them all, sugar. You may not realize how much you're consuming. It's in your coffee creamer, salad dressings, yogurt, and healthy granola bars. A long-term RA patient of mine once said, "I only have sweets occasionally," but when we tracked her diet, she was consuming sugar 5 to 6 times a day. Sugar spikes your insulin, promotes gut dysbiosis, and increases inflammatory markers like TNF-alpha and CRP. Even worse, a 20-year study involving over 100,000 women found that just one sugary soda a day increases your risk of developing RA by 63%. Sugar is addictive. It lights up the brain like cocaine. That's why it's so hard to quit. but those who reduce sugar gradually see improvements in energy, mood, and joint health. Start by cutting back on sodas, then move on to snacks and hidden sugars. The less you eat it, the less you'll crave it, and trust me, your joints will thank you for every teaspoon you skip. Now that you know the top 10 foods that can make rheumatoid arthritis worse, it's time to take control of your diet. Every small change you make today adds up to long-term relief. Start by eliminating just one of these foods, then gradually work your way down the list. Don't forget, what you eat can either feed the fire of inflammation or put it out. Keep a journal, track your symptoms, and celebrate the victories, no matter how small. Healing is a journey, not a race. If you found this video helpful, leave a comment below and tell me, which one of these foods surprised you the most, and which one are you cutting out first? Let's support each other on this path to less pain and more energy. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more science-backed tips for living better with RA.